Good morning, everyone. We're continuing here in the words of Rabbi Yamin Forrest, Hilchais Kashrus, the laws of Kashrus. Kliya morkav mishnei chamorim. What if you have a vessel that is a combination of two different types of material? Kliya morkav mishnei chamorim. When you have a vessel that's combined of two different types of material, one of the materials requires tevilah, and one material does not require tevilah to go to the mikveh. So there's a question over here. Do you put this kli into the mikveh because part of it does require tevilah, or since part of the material doesn't require tevilah, therefore there's no reason to put it into the mikveh? There are many different boundaries, so to speak, different understandings. Kidul Halan, as we're going to explain, there's rules that we have to follow in order to figure out does it require tevilah or not. So he says kli mitzupa. Let's try the first case. A kli, a vessel that is mitzupa, that is covered in another kind of material. If you have a vessel that's made out of something that doesn't require tevilah, for example, let's say it's made out of wood, but it's covered with a material that requires tevilah, like metal. There is one part of the kli requires tevilah, and the other part does not require tevilah in the mikveh. According to the majority of the halachic authorities, if that which is covering the part of the vessel that doesn't need tevilah, which needs tevilah, for example, the metal which is covering, touches the food, chayiv hakli b'tevilah, then you need to put this kli, the vessel, into the mikveh. But if it never touches the food, then it would not need tevilah. For example, let's say you have a wooden spoon, but for some reason the handle was made out of metal. So since the handle is never going to touch the food, it doesn't require tevilah. But even if the plated area ends up touching the food, but it's not really there to serve the food, rather just to make this kli, this vessel, a beautiful plate or the like, even in that case, the kli would not need it. So for example, you had a wood plate and they put some metal designs over the plate. It's only there to make it look nicer. So since it's only there to make it look nicer, even that doesn't require tevilah. We find from this that a vessel only requires immersion in the mikveh is if the plated part of this kli that's covered now in metal, number one, it has to touch the food, and so too it's supporting the food as well. What's the reason? Anything that needs tevilah, but it's not touching the food, or it's not supporting or serving the food, then the material which normally requires immersion in the mikveh is not called a kli su'udah, not called a vessel for a meal, and would not require tevilah in that case. Now, starting tomorrow, he's going to go through numerous cases that are going to be very common shilas, very common questions that we have of the plates and the pots and the pans and the different things that we buy, serving dishes that have these duality where one part of it one material does not require, another one does require. We'll have to figure out, based on the kli, on the vessel, if it would have to go to the mikveh or not be immersed in the mikveh. Have a wonderful day.